Sorry, I'm just gonna double check that you guys can just see the screen and if you see any
Yeah.
notes, or do you see the notes?
We do see a slight sidebar, but it's not overly distracting. So
I
Okay.
don't see speaking points at the bottom. Is that what you're asking?
Okay, yes,
No.
that's what I meant. Thank
Okay.
you.
Those are hidden. Good job.
Okay, thanks, guys. So, hello, my name is Rana Hyatt. I am the CEO and founder of Solis, and I want to tell you guys a little bit about myself. So, I grew up in Calgary, Alberta, and I grew up with parents that owned and operated hair salons throughout Calgary. So, 40 years of experience. And throughout that time, I did everything. As one that grows up with a family-owned business, you had every job every summer. And in that time, I got to actually grow my passion in bridal hair and makeup, really finding a niche that was being underserviced. And in the last decade, I've grown it to be an international freelance team. And as I did that, it was quite incredible to see one of the pain points that we experienced. So the more our team grew, the more money we made, the more problems we had in terms of sanitation. So with my chemistry background and my years in the healthcare industry, I decided I really wanted to solve this problem. How do we bring healthcare, hospital grade sanitation into the industry since it hasn't been reinvented, and hold your breath, since 1964? So a very long time. And we saw this impacted not only in the makeup industry, but also in the barbershops, your lash bars, your permanent makeup cosmetic industries, cosmetic retailers, and our very favorite spas. Oops, sorry, one sec here. There we go. So we really wanted to bring clean hospital grade sanitation into the space. So as you know, there's a high risk of infections. It's incredibly expensive to actually purchase the duplicate applicators that we like to see. So we accumulate a ton of garbage. We have duplicate tools, so thousands of dollars worth of the same product for different clients as we grow that clientele base. And it's incredibly unsustainable. We are the third largest industry waste contributor. A couple use cases, just to give you an idea of who actually in the industry is severely impacted. It's someone like MAC Cosmetics that in 2020, just as the pandemic was happening, was sued for $20 million for a junior artist applying dirty, unsanitary practices, and to a client that actually lost their vision slightly in the left eye. And that case was settled, sorry. And this is another one, which is actually quite common. This is far more common. So all your beautiful fashion show, runway shows that we all love to see, Victoria's Secrets, when those things happen behind the scenes, there's a ton of experience in the lovely pain of cleaning tools. So this is a very common occurrence. It literally happens at every fashion show that you probably have watched. And throughout, as another use case, throughout the pandemic, this is what exactly happened to us. A lot of small businesses had to close, and then the practices of sanitation really changed. Although we were, provincially health regulated, because we are a business that touches clients, the only few businesses that touch clients directly to skin, we were actually shut down, and that just lost all our operation costs, and then our cost of goods in terms of sanitation completely increased. So it was over really reducing the small margins of profit there. So like I said, it's incredibly time consuming just to sit there one by one, cleaning those tools in order to be ready for the next day. It takes 24 hours for my brushes to dry. And that means I have to do them the minute I get home from work. So work after work. So we really wanted to solve this problem. We really wanted to have, hospital grade sanitation into the makeup space. And Solis, so we created Solis, which is the hospital grade sanitizer using UVC patented technology that is not only able to, lead this sustainable initiative in the cosmetic industry, but we're also able to protect the health and hygiene of our consumers. So from professional artists to their consumer, we really build that consumer loyalty. And establish, safer practices that are a little bit, new and innovative when it comes to like 1964 barber side. So here's what Solis does. It's a UVC technology, kills viral, which is actually one of the most pathogens that is actually coming up and on the rise. And as we know, viruses are treatable, not curable. One really important feature that we like to highlight is that, yes, we sanitize, but we actually remove the product off your tools. So any powdered product literally just comes off and you're able to, easily move from color to color as your preference. Water resistant, antimicrobial, 40-hour cleaning time, surgical grade stainless steel. We really wanted to have Solis be modular so that, as we innovate throughout the years, that the product actually innovates with you. Again, we decided to go one step further. We wanted Solis to be a bit smarter. We wanted to track the health of your tools because we know that's really important in order to create your craft, and alert you of any harmful microbes so that we can actually prevent any client-to-client transmission on a really busy day. And if there's any adverse product ingredient interactions. So we wanted to do that in order to support your shopping. We wanted to not only bring clean cosmetics from when we speak about your tools, we really wanted to bring it about in the way that you're consuming products. So we want you to buy what is really working for your business. And we actually will tell you geographically where you are when things go on sale, so you buy them at the best price. So here's how we stack up. So we are the only hospital grade, Health Canada FDA certification on the path to becoming fully certified and working towards our EU certifications on the market that is actually tackling all these issues in the consumer space. Our milestones have been fantastic. We have our pre-sales, so our pre-sales of 500 units were sold back in January. Our software is in terms of our microbial and AI training, is really coming close to completion. And through that, we've actually had conversations with L'Oreal where we're actually hosted in October in Paris to demonstrate the microbial tracker and product ingredient analyzer. So those are very exciting things. We have a LOI with Holt Renfrew. They've been watching us very closely for a few months now. Actually, 18 months to say. I feel like those are long dating periods when you have conversations with retailers. So we've actually secured an LOI and we hope to launch pre-Christmas for 2023. L'Oreal and Montreal AI team meetings. And then we were actually personally invited to demonstrate for Chanel 360. And we are now going again in October to re-demonstrate that product innovation and see how we've come so far. And as true Canadians, we love to be in our Shoppers Drug Mart onboarding, so we're just working through our process there. So here's a little bit of a revenue model in terms of our 3-tier process. We really, because I've had so many years of the beauty industry experience, we know our beauty suppliers throughout North America very well. We have strong relationships with them. So we are planning to go through Cosmoprof, Modern Beauty, Sally's Beauty, and Ulta, and then through that really distribute to their micro salons. That's the salons, med spas, lash bars, makeup schools. And we've just actually recently secured our film and television in Alberta. So you'll be seeing us hopefully on The Last of Us when the union strike is over. And then we will move into the cosmetic retail space because we all know if you are 80% of people, once they try a product, they're more likely to buy a product, which is the complete basis of what Sephora's business model is under. So we want to support those initiatives and actually grow their revenue. We really want to, and naturally similar to like the Dyson, it was made for professional artists, but we want to move it into the luxury cosmetic space. So we want our clients to kind of enjoy it. So we like to call them makeup enthusiasts. And that's how our plan is. So our strategic plan is through strategic partnerships, licensing and agreements are B2B, as you saw, and then direct to consumer. And one really favorite piece that I like to say here is that the app will also be direct to consumer as well. So the app will actually be positioned for that consumer on a more skin analysis goal. So let's say you're someone that suffers from acne, we want to track those initiatives, any type of product ingredient interactions that are happening, and be able to track what unique interactions are happening on your personalized skin, because your skin is very, very different and we're all very unique in that way. And we're starting to really realize that. So as our science and innovation works and grows, we'll be able to kind of create that microbial product library and really position clients to achieving those big goals. So through our path to market, our hardware is just independent on its own in terms of sanitation. Our software and our annual sales, this is global, our market trajectory, and our partnerships and licensing. So partnering with L'Oreal specifically within, like, for example, Giorgio Armani, their skin analyzer that they have, will be able to partner Solis into like prepackaged products. Our team is really growing since we've actually just got our certification for our first checkpoint on Health Canada certification. So we're growing our team. We have myself, as you know, our very talented R&D specialist, Fernando, a serial entrepreneur and salon owner, which is one of our private angels here. And then Jay Latta, which is a complete innovation specialist, Dr. Chris Brown at the University of Calgary, and Innovate Calgary, which we hope to announce our entry into the Life Science Fellowship, which will actually allow us to really scale our company. Sonia Checkle, which is Governmental Alberta, and Chloe, which is our brand and marketing, because we all know that we need sales when it comes to cosmetic products. So the big ask is 1 million USD. And once we achieve that Life Science Fellowship with the Innovate Calgary and the University of Calgary, sorry, I always get those guys a little confused, but the research and development, manufacturing, and business operations will really come down. It'll cut our costs by 82%. So all of the rest of that trajectory will be completely just strategically gaining the customers, acquisition, sales and marketing, and building our brand awareness. So thank you guys. That's the next is appendices.
Thank you so much, Rana. Great job. Great job. Okay, let's kick things off. We've got about I would say about 12 minutes for feedback. So I'll just make sure to update everybody on time limitations. But let's start with Jim. You're the first face I see. So let's start with your feedback.
Okay. First of all, Rana, your slides are nice and crisp, not too busy. I think that you've got a pretty effective look and feel, consistent look and feel throughout the slideshow. So that was quite good. And maybe it's because I'm male, but it took me probably 90 seconds in your presentation to realize you were talking about beauty product sanitization. The first thing that came to mind when I think sanitation is the trucks that come down the street and pick up my garbage. So you think you need to be a little bit quicker to tell people, when you look at this slide, this first slide that's up on your screen, it looks like it looks like beauty products. And then you started talking to me about garbage trucks and I got really confused. So anyway, I say just ensure of, a lot of investors are male, and so you want to make sure they don't get confused. I mean, I was fine by midpoint, but for a while I was very confused as to what you were going to talk about.
Okay.
I thought your pain stuff was very good. If your product works in less than a minute, I'm wondering, just as an idea, and I don't know whether a little video in the middle where you actually showed it working might be really interesting, even if you cut out 30 seconds of the middle part.
Yeah.
It might, because it's a very visual product. And so I thought maybe a little bit more in terms of watching it work. I mean, it looks pretty cool to me, but it looks like a really cool gadget that I could see a lot of women using and a lot of salons using. I guess the other question though I had, and I really got confused, is it looks like a hardware product, and yet you talk about software. And so I wanted to know more about what is the software behind this solution, because to me, I didn't see that. So those are my main comments. I'll take a little less time this time, give someone else a little more of the spotlight.
I can quickly show you. So Solis, actually just insert your brushes inside the unit and you just close the lid. But as it's actually sanitizing, we're also analyzing. So we have this little 30-second analyzer that is able to see what sort of pathogens, if any, exist, because typically consumers will leave their makeup brushes in the bathroom, and we all know like toilet plume is a real thing, and the moisture and the fluctuation of it. So there's a high risk of bacterial and viral occurrences there. So what we wanted to do is actually analyze that data and be leading in a preventative health practice where we say, okay, every time these two or things happen where their humidity fluctuates, or you're a person that suffers from any skin ailments, these two ingredients, when they come together, we wanted to basically track it, provide feedback to that user, and then also share it maybe potentially with Health Canada to showcase like any like hotspots geographically, like where
That's
things are
awesome.
happening.
Because what I would do is I wouldn't put a video in. I would just do what you just did and say,
Okay.
and then tell people, that you might even want to shut off this. Might want to shut off the presentation when you get there, so people see you on full screen, because it's a very powerful thing. And then that's probably your opportunity to say, not only are we cleaning the product, we're telling the clients what pathogens are there through our software. And that actually, to me, helps reinforce, oh my God, they got COVID out of this thing. It makes me reinforce wanting to use it more. So it reinforces the use case if your clients see it every time they use it, that, oh, we destroyed this pathogen in this thing. So I think holding it up the way you did, because video can be a little bit quirky in these presentations. So it's probably the best way. And I'll let the other people here see what they think, but great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nina?
Oh, I was hoping you'd call Marisa.
Oh, I can't. I just saw that your mute was off. So it's the little things with me, you got to watch
Yeah,
out.
I see. We have to be under the radar. Rana, I thought it was excellent. I agree with Jim that it's a great idea to show us what it is. And when you just spoke very briefly, the description, I guess there's an education component here to educate us on this. Out of curiosity, because I don't know the industry at all, is a capacity of 12 brushes the size that a makeup artist would need?
So the reason, that's a great question, actually. I love that. So 12 brushes is typically the average brush, unless you're doing something absolutely creative. But on an everyday client that's looking for glam makeup, typically 12 brushes are all you need. So
it means like a quick cleanup, put them in a minute later, ready for the next client.
Yeah. So typically what we wanted to demonstrate is actually have, you clean your brushes, you hold it within the unit, you put all your brushes here, so you store them and you use them on one client. When you go to set up for your next client and, sanitize your entire space again, we want for you to just close that lid, press that button, and by the time you're, set up for your next client, you're ready to go. So that brush set can be reused again.
Very cool. And is there, it might have gone through on the slides and I missed it. Is there anything on revenue? What the subscription is, what the unit cost is?
Yeah, the unit cost is $499 USD. And the subscription is a freemium model. And we really want to kind of just, initially in the first couple months, just to kind of establish how the user is using it. And then it'll be like a $9.99 a month subscription model. Now for the salon owners, we really want to kind of support their growth. And so that'll be more of a annual membership program that they will have with the software. So if you buy the hardware, we want to kind of give you the software for free. And if you continue purchasing the hardware, we'll continue doing that, but we'll have a year subscription for the hardware each year.
And are you already, is this a prototype or do you already have?
That's a great question. So I'm going to be very honest here. We had an assembly problem because we are manufacturing here in Alberta. So one thing was we wanted it to be very modular. That was a really big initiative for us so that we can actually say that we are sustainable in our growth. So we had an assembly problem. We actually have since resolved it, which is really fantastic news. And we're actually, in terms of material cost, we're a lot cheaper now, which is sometimes those stressors teach us great lessons. And we are now going to be ready to batch in small, like fulfill our orders and pre-orders and do them in small batches.
And do you have any pre-orders?
Yes. Yeah, we have 500 pre-orders.
Was that in the slides?
Sorry, I think I said that.
Oh, no, good. Okay, so that's great information to know.
Thank you.
And in terms of the raise,
Mhm.
did you include in the raise your runway on it?
So our runway would be a 2-year runway. However, if we achieve the pilot project with L'Oreal and Chanel, we would actually be able to have that go on a 2-year runway. So a lot of it is bootstrapped because I grew up in the family business where if you don't have cash to spend, don't spend it. So I feel like asking for money has always been a bit interesting for me. And we hope to really utilize that 1 million and have a long runway with it.
Super. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, last but not least, Marisa, you've got about 2 minutes.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
great presentation, Rana. I thought you had really clear definition of the problem. I didn't realize this was a problem. So I thought that at the beginning you were clearly set, you know, what the problem was and how it affects us. And I thought that was really good. I understood the tool, but I understood it much better after you chatted with Jim and Nina. And when you showed the product and when you said, okay, you know, at the beginning of your session, you put it down, you put your, sorry, at the end of the session, you put your brushes in it, and now you're ready for your next customer. I got a little bit lost in the software because I started to think, oh, okay, are we analyzing my skin now? Are we analyzing products that I might buy and the ingredients? Because you were talking about ingredients. But then what I'm getting now is that it's the ingredients on the brushes, on what's inside the tool that you can tell me about. It's not about maximizing my beauty routine in relation to products. So that wasn't clear to me at the beginning. I wasn't sure how the software was working with the hardware. And I liked that, you know, you had the makeup enthusiasts and the different categories, but it left me wondering, what is that now? Is that B2B? Is that B2C? Because you had Holt Renfrew on there next to L'Oreal. And to me, L'Oreal is a B2B and Holt Renfrew is a B2C. So I was a little bit, in terms of your strategy, your go-to market strategy, how do those fit into what investors recognize, right? And so they'll recognize words like business to business, business to consumer, distribution channels, those kinds of things. I think it's great that you split it this way, but a little more clarity on how it fits into a marketing strategy. Yeah, that
We
and
see,
go ahead.
yeah. No, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, we see someone like Holt Renfrew because we're going to be supporting their back end so that they can actually reduce the cost of their sanitation. We took a use case for Holt Renfrew specifically, and we said, okay, how much do you guys generate in revenue on a cosmetic counter? And it was $2.1 million. And from that $2.1 million, they spend $119,000 on sanitation. And it's not even sanitizing, you know, everything. That's an annual sanitation cost that they have. We can reduce that with a $499 product at 12 stations throughout that and really cut their costs so that they can spend more time on their actual growth of their sales as opposed to their.
We summarize everything we're saying. Rana, you've really, really done a really good job of what is the pain point. And now with a little bit of a demonstration, you can easily get in what is the product about. Now you really need to tell us how you make money on it in a more clear way, because all of our questions are about how do you make money with this, and how does it work for you? How does it work for the client? Why do they save money? Why do they, you know, they have to save money or reduce risk or both? And I think in the case of Holt Renfrew, it's both. And no one really thought about this as a save money tool. This is a safety tool. So for the safety tool that can also save money for a customer, you just ramped up your interest level in an investor hugely.
Okay, thank you. That's actually a really valuable piece of information.
I do agree with that. And in terms of Holt Renfrew, when I saw Holt Renfrew, I was thinking as a retailer, but that's not it, right? You're talking about for demonstrations, for makeup application sessions, that kind of thing. So yeah, to articulate that a little bit, but great idea. I didn't know this was a thing, and it sounds like it needs to be solved.
Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, that's a great piece of feedback. We'll definitely change it up for next year. Next pitch, sorry, not next year.
It may feel like a year. 1 week
Yeah.
in Shibu can feel like a year, I think. But okay, that was So fabulous. Thank you all very much. And we appreciate the detailed feedback. It really helps week over week. And reminder just to fill out the pitch practice feedback form if our investors experts can. That would be wonderful. And thank you so much. We'll see you in at least a week.
Thank you, Rana.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
guys.
Sylvia. Good work.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye,
Thank you
guys.
all. Bye.